Welcome to the ancient city. These walls have stood for millennia. Imagine the stories they could tell. Follow me, and I'll show you more.
You are stepping onto a land where history was not just written, but born from blood, dust, and the first dreams of civilization. The air feels heavy, and it seems as if time itself has stopped here. Iraq, the birthplace of humanity's oldest stories. A land that once nurtured civilization, taught laws, and shaped the very idea of cities, now lies silent, lost beneath dust and shadows. But within this silence hides a strange question. Why does the same land that once lit the fire of civilization now bury broken bones, shattered history, and forgotten truths beneath it? Sand shifts and gathers again, each time burying the broken echoes of the past beneath it. A distant voice seems to float through the wind. History never dies, it only hides. And within this mysterious land begins our journey. A country where holiness and wounds stand side by side. Every grain of sand seems to want to speak, but we cannot hear everything. Some cities live only in the present, while others breathe across all layers of time. Baghdad is exactly that kind of city. When evening light falls on the Tigris River, the whole city softens like an ancient poem. The sound of traffic, the crowd's noise, and the distant call to prayer blend into a strange melody, as if the voices of lost poets are still whispering. The river flows through the city like a silent storyteller. Within its slow brown current drift countless fragments of knowledge, war, and wonder. Baghdad's beauty does not shout to be seen. It slowly accumulates inside the heart. Mosques with golden domes stand unshaken even among modern concrete buildings. Their minarets hold on to sunlight like fragments of frozen memory. In the distance, Al-Qadimiyya Mosque rises into the sky like perfect silent geometry, a living blend of faith and art. Across the river, the call to prayer drifts gently through the air, softly touching the city's noise. On another side of the city in Adamiyya stands Abu Hanifa Mosque, a symbol of strange calm that remains unbroken amid modern chaos. Traffic keeps moving, markets roar, people rush, yet the city's heartbeat never stops. An old shopkeeper slowly says, "This city changes, but its soul never does." And then it becomes clear. Baghdad is not just a city, it is living time. Deeper inside, beneath modern chaos, lies an ancient thirst for knowledge, understanding, and remembrance. Inside the Iraq National Museum, the city that once taught the world how to understand now guards the last fragments of its lost memories. Inside glass showcases are fragments of civilization, clay tablets, ancient tools, and silent histories that somehow survived fire, flood, and endless wars. It feels as if Baghdad once lost its voice and then slowly found it again through the ruins. This is no longer just a city. It feels like a story of rediscovering itself through its own lost memories. Then appears Al-Mustansiriya School, a silent yet glorious symbol of Abbasid architecture. A vast courtyard surrounding arches, delicate brickwork, and geometric mosaics, all whispering lost stories of knowledge through time. Built in the 13th century, this place once hosted scholars who mapped the stars and healed human lives.
هل فهمت الدرس؟ نعم، ولكن لدي سؤال. أسأل وسننخج معا.
Dust of time has gathered, yet this house of knowledge still stands silently. Amid wars, destruction, and collapse, A historian slowly says, "The knowledge that survives is the true empire." His voice echoes through the stone walls of the courtyard. Then the camera shifts to the Tigris riverbank at Abu Nuwas Street. Beside the shimmering water stands a surreal sight, bronze statues of Scheherazade and King Shahryar. Created in 1975 by artist Muhammad Ghani Hikmat, these bronze figures still seem engaged in an endless conversation, a timeless conflict between power and knowledge. Scheherazade stands firm and confident, her hand half raised, as if shaping the air with words. Before her sits King Shahryar, silent and deeply absorbed in awe. His gaze is fixed, only listening, only understanding. In a silent moment, it feels like stories can be stronger than rule itself. Under golden sunlight and palm tree shadows, they seem frozen within time. But this story does not stop here, because some ruins only whisper, while some places roar even in silence. Babylon is exactly that kind of name, the remains of a great empire buried under southern Iraq's dust, broken bricks, buried dreams, and a forgotten kingdom layered in history. Yet even in these ruins, Babylon carries a strange royal presence. You stand on the same ground where kings once claimed they could touch the sky. A guide slowly says,
Welcome to the ancient city. These walls have stood for millennia. Imagine the stories they could tell. Follow me, and I'll show you more.
Here, even dreams were once empires, and perhaps truly, they almost touched the sky. It is said this was the location of the legendary Hanging Gardens, a nearly impossible dream of greenery in the desert, like heaven suspended above the earth. A complex water system supposedly lifted Euphrates River water to sustain its greenery up to the sky. But reality is a strange silence. Until today, no confirmed trace of the garden has ever been found. No path, no proof, only mystery and questions. Some archaeologists still firmly claim that the Hanging Gardens never truly existed. According to them,
These maps confirm it. Babylon's design was more advanced. The digital overlay shows the precise urban layout. Let me check the details on this section. The implications are profound for our understanding.
it is only a myth, a remarkable human-made story that slowly began to sound like truth over time.
The alignment on this map is key.
Yes, it matches the shard we found.
This artifact confirms it.
The symbols are identical.
Let's cross-reference everything.
On the other hand, another group of researchers believes the opposite. They argue the garden truly existed, but its presence is now buried under centuries of sand. Time has silently swallowed it whole. And here lies the true mystery, the eternal conflict. The world's most famous garden may not be a place at all. Perhaps it is only an idea. A story so beautiful that humanity refused to let it disappear. As you walk through the broken ruins of Babylon, the remnants of the Ishtar Gate appear. Once the brightest blue gateway in the world, it was covered with shining enamel lions, dragons, and bulls that seemed alive across its surface. They were fearsome symbols, guardians of a city that believed it would never end. Today, a replica of that glory stands under museum lights in Berlin, shining, preserved, distant. The original gate lies under the Iraqi sun, slowly sinking into the dust of time. A silent voice seems to drift through the wind. Does glory survive only when it is taken away? What a cruel irony, isn't it? The gate that once welcomed the most powerful kings of the world is now confined behind glass thousands of miles away. Visitors look at it, but they can never feel the burning desert wind that once touched its stones. Beyond the Ishtar Gate lie the ruins of the ancient Babylonian theater. Its semicircular sandstone seats still stand like frozen waves of time. It was built so desert winds could carry sound across great distances. Once, music played here, poetry was spoken, and royal ceremonies echoed beneath the open sky.
The stories these stones could tell. Imagine the crowds that filled this place. A true marvel of human achievement.
An old archaeologist says slowly, "This was not just theater, This is where civilization saw itself. It was a stage where history itself performed its own story. It proved that not only power, but beauty too, was part of empires. Then stand the ruins of Nebuchadnezzar's palace. Its massive walls are still so large it is hard to imagine its former scale. He was a conqueror, and also a defeated man. Today we remember his name, but not the person himself. Even the legend of the Tower of Babel began here, a timeless story of human pride and division. The ziggurat called Etemenanke once stood so tall it seemed to touch the sky. The Bible says God divided languages to stop humanity. Archaeology says time did the same. But perhaps both are true, because in the end, whether language or time, both break those who once stood together in a shared dream. The eternal symbols of Babylon, the stone lions, still stand like silent guardians of this ruined city. Time has eroded their faces, yet their presence remains unbroken, as if they still guard something humanity has forgotten. But they have not. Through these ruins, shepherds now lead their goats, where priests once studied the stars to read the future. The wind carries not only dust anymore, it carries myths, memories, and the scent of lost ambitions. Every step feels heavy with centuries. Deep in the southern desert, where the horizon is flat and endless, rises a massive brick mountain, a ziggurat. Its steps climb slowly toward the ancient copper sky. Each layer carries the dream of a lost people who believed they could touch the gods. Built more than 4,000 years ago, this structure was dedicated to the moon god Nana. It still stands, worn, wounded, but unbowed. Like the final echo of Sumerian civilization, it still whispers through silence. As the sun sinks behind its massive steps, long shadows spread across the desert, like the memory of a lost empire still drawn upon the earth. At dusk, desert foxes move silently between broken stones, while a lone bird glides across the red horizon. The air carries a strange, ancient vibration. This is not death, but the breath of memory. It is both ruins and revelation. A place where the boundary between earth and sky becomes thinner, almost disappearing. About 125 kilometers north of Baghdad, Samarra is a city suspended between eternity and oblivion. The skyline is defined by its most mysterious symbol, the Malwiya Tower, a 52-meter-high spiral minaret made of baked brick, rising upward in a twisting motion as if time itself is trying to climb toward the sky. The climb to its top is both terrifying and poetic. A sloping spiral path winds upward along the tower's body, reminiscent of ancient Mesopotamian ziggurats. At the top, the world falls silent for a moment. The Tigris glimmers in the distance, half-collapsed walls emerge as shadows, and beyond them lies the faint outline of an ancient empire, one that dared to reach the sky in the desert. A local man quietly says,
"A timeless sentinel in the sands.
"This tower doesn't just rise upward.
What secrets does it hold?
It also travels back through time."
I must ascend.
And truly, this structure is not just a minaret. It is a memory, a spiral of history that embraces the past while reaching for the sky. Beneath it lies the vast foundation of the great mosque of Samarra, a silent shadow of expansive history that still breathes beneath the earth. Once upon a time, this was one of the largest mosques in the world. Today, its walls stand like faded lines, worn down by the wind. Yet even within this broken structure, a sense of greatness rises that cannot be expressed in words. Its vast courtyard was so enormous that more than 10,000 people could pray here at once. Its architectural geometry is so perfect that it feels as if not human hands, but an invisible artist designed it. This ruin cannot be called just a mark of history. It feels more like an imprint of faith, still silently alive within the earth. By the river stands Al-Ashik Palace, known as the Palace of Lovers. Its steps descend gently toward the water, as if a lost memory of peace is still waiting there. Inside the walls, delicate floral patterns painted on plaster still survive, unbroken even under the desert heat, as if they have been fighting time itself to remain alive. With a deep breath, someone whispers, "Once, power and poetry lived in the same room here, and today, both are lost only in dust." Much of Samarra now lies buried beneath modern roads and ordinary houses, as if a vast empire is silently sleeping beneath everyday life. Then the scene shifts. Across the vast desert of Najaf lies Wadi al-Salam, a boundless sea of stone and silence. It is the largest cemetery in the world. From above, it looks like an eternal city, where narrow paths twist and turn through thousands of graves, tombs, and shrines. The air here is completely silent, yet it feels as if countless presences drift around. Prophets, scholars, martyrs, and ordinary people. Everyone rests side by side in eternal sleep. Here, the living walk in silence, in respect for the dead. A passerby quietly says, "This is not a cemetery. It is a city of memory," and the silence grows even deeper. Then the camera moves toward northern Iraq. History stands the Erbil Citadel, one of the oldest continuously inhabited structures in human history. From a distance, it looks like a simple earthen mound, but the closer you go, the more it feels. This is not a hill. It is a living body of history. Walking up its spiral paths feels like the earth itself is speaking. A local man slowly says, "Every stone here is a memory. Every layer beneath your feet is a century, and every brick is a page of a story, which is still being written, but which will never end. Each layer beneath your feet is a century, and every brick is a page of a story still being written, but never finished." You're actually walking over a civilization that is more than 7,000 years old. Here, time never moves in a straight line. It breaks, it rebuilds, and rises again in a new form. Inside the walls, narrow alleys twist like snakes between old brick houses. Somewhere you see traces of Ottoman courtyard homes, somewhere the warmth of Kurdish families, and somewhere the silent shadows of forgotten shrines and places of worship still lingering in the air. The beauty here is not visible at first glance, but when you look deeper, every wall feels like a memory. The city was not built from a single plan. It was shaped by generations through needs, emotions, and memories. That is why every corner here holds a human story. Standing beside an old wall, a local man slowly says, "We did not build buildings here. We preserved time itself." The classic stone tower standing in the center of the city does not try to touch the sky, yet it feels as if it is very close to it. Its 4 large clock faces shine like silver mirrors under the sunlight. Its pointed roof and small spires create an impression as if a lost empire is still standing proudly before a mountain fortress. At the base of the tower lies a vast public square, where shimmering fountains dance in rhythm. Around it are green gardens, walking paths, and a strange, calm atmosphere. The sound of water blends with human voices and laughter, as if the city itself is breathing. A tourist slowly says,
What a beautiful shot.
"Time doesn't stop here."
Just one more.
It only changes form. It feels like a continuous meeting place of past and present, where the city itself relives its memories. Beside the tower's shadow stands the Mudafaria minaret, slender, calm, and firmly rising within. It is a silent piece of history standing inside Sami Abdul Rahman Park. Built in the late 12th century, under the patronage of Muzaffar al-Din Kokori, this nearly 36-meter-tall structure has an octagonal shape, with Kufic inscriptions and intricate brickwork, As sunlight changes, light and shadow transform on its surface, as if it is reborn every hour. In the vast plains of southern Iraq, the Samawa Desert is a kingdom of silence, where time itself seems too tired to move. Endless waves of sand merge together like a golden sea frozen beneath the sky. Even in this silence, life does not stop.